You have to be the dumbest dum-dum on this side of Dumbtown that I have ever met in my entire life. Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel and to the Dating Disasters series. This is episode 3. If you've missed the previous 2 episodes, I have started a playlist, and so you'll be able to find it right up here. Today, we're just going to jump right into the story because the audacity of this man. I was still in the Craigslist Spanish-speaking buddy searching phase of my life, and it didn't matter whether they were male or female. That'll make a whole lot more sense once you watch episode 2. I got lucky enough that I hit it off with a woman who was about my age. Let's call her Mildred. Mildred was raised in the United States of America, but she was first generation. Her family was from Guatemala City specifically. One thing that I'm super thankful for when it comes to Mildred is she was very adamant that yes, you love the language, but wait until you see the culture. We would go places like Guatemalan restaurants and bakeries, or if there were any events, she would text me and we would go together. So around September, it was just uncharacteristically hot one day. Mildred reached out to me and she said, hey, my family decided last minute we're going to do a barbecue. I think it would be great if you could come over too, because I mean, this would be helpful in terms of getting to know a little bit more about the culture. I ended up being the only non-Latina there, which was kind of scary, but everyone was so nice. About maybe halfway through the night, I was kind of feeling like, I've been overstimulated enough. I'm going to go home. Mildred came to me and she said, hey, you haven't met my brother and his friends. They're inside, and one of them really wants to meet you. Mildred drags me into the house, and there's this mixed group of young adults sitting in the living room, on the floor, on the couch, everywhere, and they're just having a great time. The last person she introduces me to is a guy named Marco. Marco stands up, he comes over, he smiles, he shakes my hand. He's all of 5'6", but he's hot and I'm here for it. We sit down in an area where a few of the, primos, the cousins and the family members are playing dominoes. Somebody goes, hey, Marcos, do you and Krista want to play dominoes with us? I don't know how to play dominoes. He says, yeah, we'll play dominoes. I'll teach Krista how to play. It was fun. After a certain amount of time, everybody started talking about the fact that they wanted to go upstairs and watch Netflix, watch some movie or something like that. It was a scary movie, and I am not about that life. I told Mildred, I'm going to skip out on the movie. I'm going to go home. I've got to get up and do some things in the morning, but thank you so much for inviting me. Marco overhears this and goes, well, let me walk you to your car. Mildred, with her sly self, she starts smiling because she knows what's going on, right? We hug, we say goodbye, she leaves. We get to my car, but I don't leave immediately because we are in the middle of a conversation. When I finally said to him, thank you very much for walking me to my car and for helping me feel comfortable and teaching me about dominoes. And he goes, yeah, sure, no problem. I think that you're a really sweet girl and I would like to make sure that you get home okay. Could I have your number? So sad. I gave him my number. I get home. I just texted him and said I made it home. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Same thing. And we went to sleep. Over the next couple of weeks, Marco and I continued to get to know each other more. We're talking, we're texting, we're going out, we're having dates. There was one day where we went to the only drive-in movie theater in the Atlanta area. I think it's the only one. We were watching the movie in the beginning and then we made out in his car, okay? We broke things off for a little bit and started watching the movie again. He made this really disparaging comment about women when this female protagonist came on the screen. So I was like, well, what does that mean? I don't remember what his reasoning was, but I was not in agreement with what he said. I told him that I found what he said was offensive. He told me in so many words that I needed to suck it up and get over it because he was right and I was wrong. I did not like his attitude. I didn't like the way that he was speaking about women. So I decided to exit his car and take an Uber home. That was the last time that I spoke to him for 3 years. Okay, this wouldn't be a story time if I hadn't reconnected with this man in some way. Around 3 years later, I'm 26, 27, and I get a random text from a number I don't recognize. This was before spam callers were super intense and annoying and out there just ruining lives. So I answered and I was like, I don't know who this person is. And he goes, it's Marco. It took me a while to register who Marco was, and then I'm like, oh, Why are you texting me? Well, that night I meant to text you back, I went to call you back, but I dropped my phone down a flight of stairs and it cracked, and here's a picture of the phone. I wish I had done a Google reverse image search because I'm sure that was not his phone. I apologize, and I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. And how are you doing? How's life? Do you have a boyfriend? I'm sure you do. Oh, wait, you don't have a boyfriend. Okay, wow, I'm surprised. I was kind of amused. I wanted to see exactly what he wanted. He proceeds to ask me if he can take me to dinner to make up for his behavior 3 years ago. Why did I say yes? Because I'm an idiot. We made plans to go out to dinner at a Mexican restaurant later on that weekend. The weekend arrives, we go to dinner, everything goes off without a hitch, and then afterwards we go back to my car and we're sitting and we're talking inside of my car about just any and everything. He goes, I have something that I need to ask you. I don't want you to get upset with me. I just really want an honest answer. And I said, yeah, okay, whatever. Why didn't you tell me that you had an STD? I don't. Krista, you don't have to lie to me. I already know that you have one. I just wish that you had told me. I started getting really aggravated with him. I wasn't yelling, but my voice was getting a little bit more cut and dry. He says to me, well, I've traced back all of the women that I've ever had any kind of contact with, and I have eliminated everyone except for you. So I had to have gotten the STD from you. I was mystified by what he was saying, and I was sure that he was confusing me with somebody else. He went in for a physical a couple of years ago, got some blood work, and the blood work came back that he has herpes. He said he felt like his life was ruined because he wasn't going to be able to have a family or have a wife without risking passing this disease on to somebody else, and it just tormented him, and he wanted to get back to the original person and ask them why they never shared this information with him. He seemed really emotionally distraught in that moment, and so I felt compassion for him, even though I was confused at the same time. I also was studying because I wanted to be an interpreter. I know a little bit about medicine. I know a little bit about STDs because I'm studying that information. I decide that I'm going to be the encouraging one in this situation. I tell him I'm so sorry to hear this news, but it absolutely cannot be me. Doesn't mean that he will never find love or he'll never be able to find a girlfriend or a family or whatever. It's just a matter of being honest and allowing that person to accept him for who he is, yada, yada, yada. So during this, y'all, I was so stupid. During this, I can kind of see his attitude changing the way that you see a 5-year-old's attitude changing. You know, when you tell them something and they're like, promise, you promise. Like, that is the energy that I got from this man. You really think so? You really think that somebody would want me even with my diagnosis and my history? Do you really think that women will still find me attractive? If it's the right person and you are honest with them and they're honest with themselves and with you, then yeah, that could work out. So you could see that he starts like feeling more relief from this conversation. Because I'm still in helper mode, I'm like, all right, tell me about your symptoms. Tell me when stuff started. Tell me this, tell me that, because I'm trying to see if I can give him any information that he may not know. He proceeds to give me more information and starts telling me stuff about his symptoms that sound more like they're going on up here than down there. You know what I mean? I asked him, what kind of herpes did the doctor say you have? What do you mean? He said, I have herpes. And I said, no. There's 2 kinds of herpes. There's herpes simplex virus 1 and there's herpes simplex virus 2. Herpes simplex virus 1 transmits cold sores. Herpes simplex virus 2 transmits diseases. What you're describing to me is cold sores, which is not the same thing as a sexually transmitted disease. So what did the doctor tell you you have? Something in his countenance broke at that moment, and he says to me, you know, you're a smart woman. You're so smart. And I am such an idiot. I don't want you to be mad at me. I just want to tell you something and just please listen to me. But I don't want you to be mad. He knows that he has cold sores or herpes simplex virus 1 and not herpes simplex virus 2. He did not always have cold sores. So he started thinking back to who in his past might have had cold sores or might have transmitted the virus to him. And he said that he landed on me because he knew that we kissed. His thought process was that if we met up and there was still chemistry there and we were both still interested in each other, that he could tell me that he had herpes, convince me that I had given it to him to make me feel like I couldn't be with anybody else except for him, so that that would start a relationship between the two of us. Y'all, the hot mess, illogical, half-baked, half-brained, cockamamie nonsense idea that this boy put together. I cannot explain where this came from. After he finished talking, he goes, "Are you mad at me?" And I said, I'm not mad at you. I just don't know what to say. Just to get him out of my car and be on my way. I just need to think about this. So I want to go home and I just want to think. Okay? Okay. I'm just glad that you gave me the opportunity to tell you this and and thank you so much for giving me a chance. And I did not confirm nor deny any of these things. I was just like, okay, está bien, nos vemos, ¿sí? Bye, ciao. The moment I get home, I just blocked his number and I called Mildred almost immediately and I was like, girl, you will not believe who just contacted me. She goes, "Oh, Marco, no me digas, did he call you?" And I said, "It's worse than that, girl. We went out on a date tonight and he told you he has herpes." Yeah, he did. How did you know that? Mildred told me everything. Her brother was no longer friends with Marco because Marco told him while they were a little tipsy that he was going to get back at all the women that had either cut him off cold turkey or had broken up with him by trying to convince them that he was coming back into their lives because they had transmitted something to him and he just wanted to be with them and stay with them for the rest of eternity. He would stay with woman A for a while. They would be physically intimate with each other. After a couple of months, then he would leave her and move on to woman B. And he had decided that I was one of those people because I had cut him off. He was getting so lucky. I don't understand why. I don't know if maybe people were undereducated about sexually transmitted diseases or whether they just felt pity, but I can't imagine. What if he actually did have herpes and he was just giving it to people because he didn't like the fact that somebody had told him no at one point? It was so scary and disgusting. I never heard from him again. To this day, it is one of the most bizarre things anybody has ever tried to do to get in my pants, y'all. Moral of the story, never be so unknowledgeable about anything that you just take somebody else's word for it without doing some sort of investigation, number one. And number two, get tested. Health is one of those things that once it's gone, it is either gone or it's very hard to get back, or it changes so much about the way that you live your life. Please do not ever take somebody's word for the fact that they're clean, they don't have anything going on, and I get tested but I can't show you the results. And don't do it, y'all. That was the story of the man that tried to gaslight me into sleeping with him. Has anything like this ever happened to you before? If so, and you feel comfortable, I'd love hearing about it down in the comments below. I can't be the only person that has had this bizarre experience. If I am, then, well, good. I'm glad that there aren't crazy people like this running around doing these things. Make sure to tune in next Wednesday so that you can hear at least part one of the time my student tried to seduce me. He was an adult student, okay? He was older than me. So you'll have to tune in next week for more context. But as we always say on our channel, with God, all things are possible, and I will see you next Wednesday. Take care.